Symbol is a stock market for sports where you can buy and sell virtual shares of your favorite teams using real money. Each time your team wins, you earn a win payout. If your team loses, you lose nothing. Symbol offers trading for the NFL, NBA, and MLB, with college football coming this fall. Visit www.symbol.com today and use promo code ONCAMPUS, that's ONCAMPUS, to earn a $10 deposit bonus on your first deposit. That's symbol.com, SIMBULL.com.
Let's go take it back, try it one more time. It ain't hard to see, I've been on your mind. And I'd be lying if I say that you're not on mine. Yeah, you need all of me, can barely give you time. I close my eyes and I see money. You close your eyes and you see me. I'd rather go out chasing commas. You'd rather run around chasing me. Don't know if I'm good for myself, how would I know you're good for me?
Another episode of On Campus with JB and Sciggy. Oh man, we got a good episode this week. Not going to be talking much ball, but we're going to be talking about some things that, that are pretty important to me and Jeremiah. For instance, our mental health. It's just great. What's going on, Jeremiah? How you been, dog?
Man, it's always good to be back, man. Always good to come on here and talk with you, talk with whoever we have on. But today is us, so we about to let this thing roll.
Oh yeah, man. And you're my boy, so I got to check in with you. Mental health is important to me. So give me your numbers right now. How are you physically, mentally, spiritually? What's going on with you?
Ooh. Each level?
Yeah, 1 to 10, man.
Hold on, you just gave me like 8 different categories though.
Oh yeah.
Wait, give me one to start off at.
All right, let's start with your mental, man. What's going on mentally with you?
Mentally. Man, mentally I'll say I'm usually at an 8 or 9 mentally. I'm usually pretty good there. I don't really get inside my head too often. Sometimes you gotta be able to mix or separate the mental and emotional health. I think that's where it gets a little difficult for me is when you get to the emotional side. Mentally, I'm doing really well right now. Everything, you see, I just got a new gig or whatever you want to call it. It's almost like everything's kind of going in the right direction for me. But just above that, I think why my mental is always so good is that I always choose joy. At the end of the day, I believe happiness is a fleeting feeling. So, but joy is a state, like it's a state of being. And within that joy, like, yeah, you can have your highs, you can have your lows, you could be sad, you could be happy, like those happen. But having that eternal state of joy, just knowing what God has for me, what God has done for me, is something that gives me comfort in every single day. So I'm always in a joyful state, I'll say.
Good. And you mentioned that, God always has you. So what are you spiritually right now? How's your relationship with him going?
Spiritually, I'd say a 6, man. It's one of those things like I'm trying to get back to growing, like you get to this. It's a funny story, kind of a funny tangent. Me and my brother, my family, we grew up in the church. So my mom was in the choir and everything. We went to a mega church when I grew up in Atlanta. So we had 3 services a day, bro. I mean, we were there from we getting up at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., getting ready for church. And we there to like 1 or 2. So we there all day. And I just remember me and my brother like joking as kids all the time, like, man, when we old enough to make decisions, I ain't never going to church again. And boy, it's crazy. Like, you really speak stuff into existence because when college hit, I never went to church on Sundays. I don't really go on Sundays anymore. But that's also too because I've kind of hit a different stage of my life where I'm not really one who believes. I think people fall too in love with going to church as opposed to us as the body of Christ as being the church.
Yeah.
Like, I think people fall in love with your Christian just because you show up on Sunday and not because what you are Monday through Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So for me, just trying to be able to find a church home too is another big thing. I think I'll look for that more whenever I get out of college and I get to my permanent place of living, trying to find that church home. Because, obviously when I do have kids and everything, I'm going to want to raise my kids that way. So, I'd say 6 just because I'm growing. I'm getting back into that phase where, I'm trying to reconnect with God. You start playing college football. Saturdays we play. Sundays you're tired. And in the off season, you get beat on Monday through Friday. You like, man, I ain't doing nothing this weekend. It's like, I'm not getting up for nothing. I don't care what it is. So But I think recently, like the last month or so, I've been really good about getting into my Bible, getting the Bible plans. I think the best thing I've done recently within the last 6 months, I'd say, is just looking for more spiritual mentors. Shout out to Roy Countryman. I know he listens to this podcast. He's been a spiritual mentor for me, a guy that I sought out when I worked at NFL Draft Bible. He would send verses in our group message at NFL Draft Bible, not knowing if everyone's believers or not, but he was just doing what he felt he was called to do. And he's somebody I searched out for and said, hey, I need like an older male role model to kind of guide me in that way. And, I have others too, like my position coach at Limestones, probably one of the greatest men I've ever met in my life. He'll probably be my biggest mentor for the rest of my life, have a huge impact. And just teaching me little things. Like he's the one that taught me about choosing joy every day. And I'd say 6 just because I'm growing, but I'm really excited about where I'm going in that area.
Yeah. It's always good when you like know that you need growth, because you're like hungry, and it helps a lot. Keeps you devoted, and you'll read a lot more. You'll be willing to learn a lot more. But yeah, I'm happy for you, dog. So what's going on with you physically? How's the body?
Boy, my trainer be beating on me, man. Trainer be beating on us, boy. We be in there dying weekly, man. But I think my body's in a great place for me to be 23, getting ready for my 5th year of college football. You'd think my body be wearing down. I think I'm the best I've ever felt. I do a good job taking care of my body. Epsom salt bath, icing all the time. My body feels like it's in a really good place, man. I've been doing a lot of my work this summer in the sand pit. I got on the grass for the first time last week, all summer, because I've been doing everything I've done. Drills have been in the sand. Boy, I got in that grass. I said, oh Lord, I feel different. And then the guys I was working out with was like, boy, that sand pit really be working, man. You look different, bro. You look different. I said, hey, dedicated to it, man. So physically, I'm always in a good place physically because I take a lot of pride in preparing myself. I'm sure you're the same kind of guy. Like I can't do anything if I don't prepare. And I'm a huge when it comes to preparation, even if football, outside of football. So I do a good job preparing my body to get into the season. And as we kind of start getting ready for summer work, getting to go on campus for summer workouts for July, and then obviously in the fall camping into the season.
Yeah, good, man. Good. You're a bit better than me. I've been on a bulk, so I haven't been doing much cardio.
Okay.
And I tried to get out and run yesterday, and I felt like shit.
But people got to understand, like, when it comes to football, you can run as much as you want during the off season, but if you're not playing football, that's a whole different shape. And I learned that a few summers ago. It's like, for me, I'm a guy who, when I do my drills, I don't really ever have anybody with me most of the times. Like, it's usually just me. So I'm out there for like an hour just going through drills by myself, back to back to back. Because, sometimes we don't have a sense of rest or when we should rest. Yeah. So like, I would never run, like never do cardio. And then I get to fall camp and we'll do conditioning tests. I'm killing it. But we got guys who were there, decide they wanted to go, because D2, you go voluntarily during the summer. I like having my trainer back home and everything. So I just stay at home and I do a pretty good job working out on my own. So we get back and dudes who've been there on campus all summer, barely passing the conditioning test. They looking at me like, they're like, bro, you look like you're in great shape. What'd you do all summer? I said, man, I just did what I was supposed to do. Because like at the end of the day, I can't do anything more than train myself to do what I'm gonna do all practice long, all fall camp long. Because like when my legs are tired doing drills at the park or in the sand pit, whenever I go into practice, in practice we're taking thousands of reps. Like for me, games, I don't get as tired as I used to be. Like I feel like I'm in a great position when I get to the fourth quarters and things of that nature. So, I mean, I think if you're trying to bulk up, so that is tough. But you just gonna have to get yourself whipped into shape when you get there.
I'm on that path where like I'm kind of close to the weight that I want to be, so I can start doing a lot more running and stuff and getting in season shape. But yeah, man, it's been rough trying to gain weight because my metabolism's so high that like I can eat thousands and thousands of calories and won't gain any weight that week, But
wow.
Yeah, it's been rough. Like I was so little in high school. I think I went into college at like 150. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm 180 now, trying to get to 185. So like when I do lose weight in camp, my playing weight will be like the 178 range.
Exactly. like, funny thing is, before we get to our next part of the health check, I actually, after my last game of high school football, I decided to weigh myself because, obviously I wanted to think about, okay, where do I want to get to before I get to school that summer. So I was 132 or after my last high school game. Yes, bro, I was 132 after my last high school game. I put on a lot of weight going into freshman. So, like, we had to report, I think it was like June 10th or something like that. I remember reporting for school like 10 days after graduation. So when I was able to get myself up to 155 once I had gotten there. And then after that, it was just a process of, once you get to college, you're going to gain weight easier because at home, like, I don't eat full. I wasn't eating full meals.
Yeah.
I was never eating breakfast. And just eating breakfast changed my life. And the biggest thing for me about gaining weight was at the start, I would take PB&J sandwiches to the room every night from the caf. And then on top of that, I had to remember, like, when you aren't hungry, don't try to force yourself to eat food. You need to eat fruit instead, because fruit is something you feel like you don't have to force down. It's like I can get a bowl of pineapples and I'm eating them. Next thing you know, I'm just killing them because it's not something that you're trying to force down. It's like when you're not hungry, just eat, and you need to eat. I just say eat fruit.
Yeah, fruit and granola. That's my go-to when, like, I'm not hungry.
Okay. I can do that.
But yeah, man. So spiritually, I'd say I'm always at like a minimum of a 7. I do a fairly decent job of staying in the Word. Trying to spread the Word. More importantly, just by being like a positive light in people's lives. It's funny that I have a boss because, like, when I was at state, off season you have a job, and so my job was landscaping. And I remember my boss told me one day, he's like, even though you're 20 years younger than me, man, you're my role model because you're just like what a Christian man should be. And like that hit hard. I was like, wow. I mean, I didn't think I was doing anything. I just show up to work, try to be the guy people like to talk to, smile with, joke around with, just nothing negative. And that's what he told me one day. I was like, wow, man. So, our friendship has grown. I've helped him grow. He's helped me grow. I've always had spiritual mentors because my dad's a minister. So, I grew up in the church. One of my good friends, his name's Clint. He was a spiritual mentor for me. He moved to Florida, but we just always had like a really, really good relationship. He has a little brand. It's a ministry. It's called 12th Man Ministries. And
I've seen you post that on the Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, and it's lit, man. Because what they do is they'll get guys to just fellowship with high school athletes. Like it's not like shoving Christianity down your throat. Some days they don't even like bring up the Bible. Eventually you want to talk about it because that's your mission, but it's not like anything out of the like crazy. They take you out to dinner, have fun with you, and like, so when I met Clint, I was like, wow, that's something that I really like. I'm a big community guy. I like helping people out. So, I mean, I became interested in that, and then our relationship grew. And then a high school coach I had, he was my receiver coach in high school. And he's actually my frat brother now, too. But whenever I was in high school, we do devotion before a game. And one week he did the devotion. I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know, like, he went to church and stuff like that. And then we got to talking, and our relationship became a lot closer. And now that's like somebody I can hit up out of the blue randomly, whenever, however, and he'll text back, call back, and we just have that relationship now. So being like spiritual mentors are pretty important along your walk.
And I think it's important to have spiritual mentors who are like you and who aren't like you at the same time. Yeah. It's like, for example, Roy Countryman's a guy who, very mature, older guy, like really devout Christian. He's a minister as well. It's like from him, you won't ever hear any kind of cussing or anything like that. But not saying like cussing defines you as not being a Christian or anything. But some people just don't cross that line. But then I have other mentors who they'll speak to me on my level. Like, they'll just be cussing just cause, like, sometimes cussing has emphasis and sentences make things funnier. But like, they'll talk to you in that way. It's like you're kind of getting both sides of the spectrum, and I just looking for those mentors was something I had never tried to do. And it's something I was like, okay, I'm getting to that stage in my life where, I'm 23, I'm single, but there's going to be a time here soon where I'm going to have to be ready to commit to a girl, or commit to having a family. And I want to be able to be a man of God in my household when that time comes, for my children, for my wife, and everything. And even then, just being a better person for myself and the people around me. Like, at the end of the day, like, people just genuinely know me as a good dude at the end of the day. And I think that's where a lot of my ministry comes from. I think people naturally gravitate towards me just because, like, I don't ever come at anybody on any kind of like pretentious type of stuff or anything like that. But at the same time, I know my worth. Like, I know who I am. And I think a lot of the problem is, as Christians, sometimes people want to be Bible thumpers, and a person that doesn't understand God doesn't want you to come over there.
Nobody wants to hear that.
That's exactly, bro. And that's exactly what they say. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Like, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. But if you're gonna, like, I'm not saying you have to meet worldly people by acting of this world, but you're gonna have to connect with them at some level that's gonna open that gate for you and show them, like, hey, you just have to show them that no matter what they are, you love them. And whether they do or don't come to Christ, you would love for them to, but your job is to just give them the word or give them your Christ-like qualities and hope that maybe they'll ask one day, okay, why do you always act like this to me? I'm like, wow, I'm glad you asked that. I'm not trying to push religion on you or anything, but, I act this way because I feel like I'm called to act this way. I feel like I'm called to love people, and I genuinely believe that, like, that's where our world's going to become better. So just kind of trying to hit people from those perspectives instead of saying, you guys are all going to hell if you don't. The world is coming to an end. You better open up that Bible.
and those kind of Christians be the worst sinners, bro. Like, they don't even realize it. I'd be like, yo, chill, dog. Like you in church saying this, like, my tattoos are bad, but like, I just saw you, out drunk as a skunk, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. And all sins are way the same. So
yeah, all sins are equal.
Be humble, bro. Like, that's what it boils down to. Be humble. Nobody's better than anybody else. But yeah, man. And I'd say mentally, I'm good right now mentally. I got kind of shook up the other day. So like, I just been like not wanting to leave the house. Me and my girl went to lunch the other day, and we were downtown in Rock Hill.
Oh, this is what you text us about?
Yeah, man, that's what I was texting about. So it was downtown Rock Hill. She stops at the stop sign. We go through the stop sign, and as soon as we like get through the stop sign, we get pulled over. My girl's like, yo, is his lights on? Because like, it was bright outside. There was no siren. He just turned the lights on. So I turn around and check. I'm like, yeah, pull over right here. Bang. Pull over. The cop comes to my window, right?
You're not even driving.
I'm not driving, bro. The cop comes to my window. So I'm like, okay. I roll the window down. He's like, yo, can I get your ID? I'm like, yo. So I give him my ID. He walks to the back. The other cop comes up to his window and said, yeah, we pulled you over for failure to stop to a stop sign. And he goes back. So I'm like,
but you sitting there like, why are you telling me that? I didn't put you.
I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on. So, dude, the first cop comes back. He's like, Mr. Robinson. He has my ID in his hand. He's like, I'm like, yes, sir. He says, yeah, I'm going to need you to step out for me. I go, what? So I get out. He's like, can I search you? He searches me or whatever. And this is what he says to me. He says, when we pulled you over, we saw you look back, and it was kind of suspicious, so we figured you must have shoved something underneath the seat.
Wow, just because you look back to see if his lights was on. That's wild.
I'm like, yo, what? And so he goes, why'd you look back like that? I told him, like, my girl asked me if your lights was on. I turned around, checked, told her to pull over. Bang. So they searched me. I'm standing outside the car. She's still in the car. Keep in mind, they pulled us over for failure to stop at a stop sign, but she had stopped completely at the stop sign.
Yeah.
So they get done searching me. and they ask her to get out the car. And for our new listeners or people that haven't heard previous episodes, my girlfriend, she's white. She's a white woman. And so they get her out the car. They don't search her. And I kind of noticed, I was like, that was kind of weird. Like, if, we're getting pulled over and they're searching me, I figured they'd search, everybody in the car. And they don't search her. And the cop goes over to her and she goes, yeah, he was kind of suspicious. What was the reason he looked back when, we pulled you over? Did he shove anything under the seat? And the whole time I'm standing right there listening to the conversation, like, you idiot, bro. Like, what are you talking about, man? And she tells him, she's like, yeah, I asked him if your lights were on. And he turned around and looked for me because, I was driving. And he's like, oh, okay, that's what he told me. I just wanted to clarify. So anyway, after that, after we clarify the whole situation, he wants to search the car. And I'm like, if I was driving, if it had been my car, I'd be like, yo, no, you're not searching my car. I don't know if you're going to try to plant something on me. Like, I don't smoke. So I know the car didn't smell like weed. And so there was no reason for him to want to search the car. But, me not driving, I didn't say anything. My girlfriend said, yeah, he searched the car. And he came back and he's like, yeah, I didn't find anything. Yada, yada, yada. And so keep in mind, I still don't have my ID or anything back. I'm still outside the car and it's 95 degrees and I'm hungry. So we get back and they bring our cards back. They don't give me my stuff. They give all the stuff to her and they give her a verbal warning for the failure to stop thing. So I'm thinking they just wanted to pull us over to mess with me.
Yeah, they knew they were in the wrong.
So this same day in Rock Hill, I don't know if you've been seeing like all the protests and stuff going on here, but cops, like, I don't know what happened with the situation, so I can't really speak on why it got to this level. Like, regardless, how they handled it was wrong, but I can't speak like why they were obtaining these people. But like, it's a video, they're just beating the crap out of 2 kids. It's like 5-6 police officers, and I was like, what the heck? I had no clue all this was going on because I've been kind of like away from socials recently, not like on them as much, but I'm still like scrolling, but I just haven't really been on it like that, so I didn't know anything about it. So we get back to the house and I'm like, yeah, I'm not really gonna say anything. Maybe it's just fluke. We found like a somewhat racist cop. Oh, let me rewind. After the whole situation, they give us our IDs back, and he comes back to me. He's like, "Yeah, I just work in narcotics, and you kind of look suspicious, so I just wanted to make sure there's nothing." And I'm like, this is what I tell him. I'm like, "Oh, where I can understand that. Just trying to pass this situation by." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really into smoking, considering I want to be like law enforcement, FBI one day." You know what this guy says to me, bro?
What?
He goes, "Oh, sick, bro. You want to go on a ride along with me?" No, bro. No, I'm straight off that. Like, leave me alone, bro. You just antagonized me, ruined my whole day. I'm trying to get some wings, and this man done pulled me over at 95 because I looked back, bro. Like,
wait,
where'd
you get wings at?
Wing bones, you know that.
Yes.
You know that, bro. I don't even know why you asked. It's either Wing Bones or American Deli. Like, I don't know. I really don't know why you asked.
It's only Wing Bones in Rock Hill, man. Honey barbecue?
No, man, honey hot.
Oh yeah, that junk is tough. The sweet Thai chili, but everything go crazy.
Yeah, but dog, that ruined my whole day. We get back to keep in mind, I thank God, bro, I did not have my gun on me. Thank God. I'd never leave my gun at home. Never. Right? Even when we drive her car, I put my gun in the car, just as a precaution.
Because Rock Hill go crazy sometimes.
Yeah, Rock Hill's insane recently. So anyway, we leave. I'm like, shoot, I forgot my gun. Go back to the house and grab the gun. And I'm like, never mind. We're just going to get food. Mm-hmm. We'll be right back.
That's God, right?
One day I leave my gun at home, bro.
That's God.
I can't imagine how much of a bigger situation that would have been if I would have had my gun. And I'm a legal carrier. So
But that don't matter.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I already know he probably would try to say I stole it. Then I would have had to go downtown. Then they would have had to find out it was my gun all along, and then it would have just been something bigger. But yeah, so I get back home, and I'm like, yeah, it was just a fluke. That's never really happened to me before. I'm not gonna say anything. And then I tell my homeboy, Nakia,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, this happened to me today. And he's like, man, dang, I'm glad you didn't have your gun on you. And then he texts me back a little bit later. He sends me 2 posts of 2 other people, 2 other black men saying, hey, I was pulled over for failure to stop at a stop sign. I definitely completely stopped. And they ended up searching my car.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, what the heck, bro? Like, what's going on in Rock Hill? So apparently it's been like 5, 6 other people that have been pulled over by this officer just because they're black men. So I don't know what's going on in Rock Hill, bro, but yeah, something needs to change.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm not like bad mentally, like I'm not scared, but I
It
just
shakes you,
don't
though.
really want to go outside right now unnecessarily.
Yeah, that something like that shakes you for sure. I know. I haven't told this story. Only person that knows this happened is my mom, my stepdad, and not even my best friend who I was with that night. So on draft night, back in April, watched the draft. I went over to like my stepdad and mom going through the works or whatever. So I went to my stepdad's house to watch the draft, and me and my best friend went over there, watched the draft like we do every year. On the way home, me and my best friend didn't drive together. So on my way home, driving, whatever, I passed a cop. I was like, but anybody that knows me, I drive slow. I'm in the right hand lane, either 5 under the speed limit or on the speed limit. So like I never worry about getting pulled over. But like at that point, it's the draft, first round of the draft takes hours. Like I probably didn't leave till like 11:30. So I'm on the road at like 12 or so, heading home on the highway. So cop pulls me over, and bro, when I tell you like my heart is racing. This is the first time I've ever been pulled over before. Because like I said, I'm probably the safest driver there is. So like my heart is racing, pounding, everything. Cop comes to my passenger side window. I was like, what's up? He goes, your license plate, but the lights on my license plate had gone out. Like, how would I know that? So he goes, do you know that your license plate lights were out? I said, no, I didn't know that. So he goes, can I have your license and registration? I was like, look, my license and registration is here, blah, blah. By the grace of God, I keep my ID in my little phone cover that stays attached to my phone. It's like, I just had to pull that out. And I had to, but unluckily, my registration was like stuffed down in my glove compartment. So I was like searching and rattling around for, I was like, bro, I hope this man don't think I got something in here. And boy, when I tell you, I was like, my heart was racing. I'm in there sweating. Like, I'm a dude who's like, I'm as cool as they come. I don't ever panic in any situation or anything. Like this shit right here had me scared because I never.
Yeah, bro.
I'm sitting there on my way home thinking like, bro, what if I end up as the next man on the news? Yeah. Like, it shouldn't be that serious. Like, if I ever get pulled over, it's like, okay, yes, I did this, yes, I did that, get my registration, I get a ticket for whatever it is, boom, 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 we go on about our day. Like, that's not the case with a young black man. And then I had all this stuff in the back of my car because that same day I had just moved back from school and I hadn't unpacked my car yet. So he's like looking back in my car, thinking I got something back there. I was like, this can't be. I said, I just remember trying to get home. And I just remember like, I got home that night. I was just sitting there like shaking before I went to bed. I was thinking about that joint all night long. I was like, bro. And for me, it's crazy. Like I was saying, like I'm as cool as they come. I never get rattled by anything. So for me to be in that, just like laying in bed rattled, I was like, bro, I ain't never felt like this before. Why do I feel like this? I can't. My mind was racing. I was like, I can't get my heart rate to slow down. Like I'm usually really good about breathing and things like that, but I was crazy. I was just like, bro, it shouldn't be this way. And then we're gonna have to have a conversation with our kids about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my mom, she told me, she was like, I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. My blood pressure was up. She was like, even though it was over, she was just so like scared that I could have been the next person. Thank God I didn't have my gun with me that day. But yeah, and people who've like heard me talk about it, they're like, and you still want to work for them people and stuff like that. But like if
You gotta
anything,
make it
that
right.
inspired me more to work for them, like to end up, being a part of the change. I know me single-handedly am not gonna change the whole outlook of police or the whole way police are, but like me, I just feel like the police's job is to protect and serve, and we've gotten so far away from that as like policing, and it's more about catching criminals and
Like
locking
TV
people up.
shows.
Yeah, bro. Like that's not the purpose of the police. The police is here to make people who aren't doing anything wrong feel safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think
And
you have the right mentality as far as you're doing it to serve your community at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yes, exactly. So if anything, it's inspired me more to pursue that dream. Um, but
You
yeah,
know,
I'm
hit,
gonna take a fishing trip today just to
get
kind
your
of
mental
ease
right.
my mind and stuff. That's always kind of my thing. I'm gonna get on the kayak today. I'm excited, bro. I'm going to
I
the
do.
Big
I like
Lake.
kayaking, bro. I like it.
Yeah, man. Do me some kayak fishing, man. Have a good day. Hopefully, I catch me a 10 pounder. We'll
Okay,
see how
okay.
that goes.
Flex. All right, so we hit mental, we hit physical, we hit spiritual. What's next?
That's pretty much it, dog. I mean, emotional. I kind
Emotion,
of tied in with
emotional.
mental, but if we're separating it, I'm a 10 emotionally. I haven't been like sad or depressed. Relationships are going good. Me and my girlfriend are really good. Me and my mom and parents were really good. Me and my sister, even though we don't talk every day, that's still like my best friend. So we're real good. Yeah, I'm great emotionally right now. I just been a little shook up, man. What about
Yeah,
yourself?
I think emotionally probably where I'm at my lowest right now. Simply because like everything that's happened for me happens kind of so fast. So I'd say emotionally I'm at a 4 right now. I'm pretty low on the emotional scale. So I talked to you about when I went out to California a couple weeks ago to see my brother and my newborn nephew because my brother was in Cali. So it's already enough like he's on that side of the country. So next thing you know, my mom she goes and visit. She got to visit him months ago before I even went when he really was first born. He's about almost 3 months now. So she went out there like a week after he was born, and once she got there, she was like, "Oh no, I can't be living away from my first grandchild because like we're in South Carolina, and that's a whole nother coast. It's not like a 4 hour drive or anything." So she starts applying for jobs on the West Coast. Long story short, she gets a job in Vegas, accepts a job in Vegas. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. But then the next day, she comes in the room. She goes, "Hey, they want me out there by July 6th." I was like, "What, bro?" It's like we got this really nice house that we built like 3 or 4 years ago. All of a sudden, it's on the market. Now I don't have like a physical home. Like obviously, like I'm at school during, you know, football season or whatnot. But at the end of the day, like still not having a physical home is a lot when your mom's all the way on the West Coast. Like for me, my mom is my best friend in the world. I love my mom to death. So to have her, like I've never had to live on my own before either. It's like now I just had to buy an apartment, everything like that. I'm about to live on my own for the first time. Cool, I guess. But like not having my mom here for, I probably won't see her again until I should probably come to one of my games this season. But till then, I probably won't see her until December. Really, I mean that's a lot. That's like a big adjustment for me. Like not having her around, just like not even because like I'm the type of person that relies on my mom. Like most people just rely on their parents. Like I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. Like me and my mom are the exact same person in the sense that we we don't really like people being all up under us. Like we really value our alone time. But like for example, like me and my mom every Sunday we watch our show that we record on Fridays, The Blacklist. Like just little things like that, just getting to be around her every day and just having her all of a sudden, boom, she's out of here just like that. It makes you kind of realize like, dang, you really should. You hear it all the time. It's like you should really cherish those moments. Not like she died or anything, but like you really got to cherish those moments because in a blink, your whole life's gone. Like it's just funny because like none of my emotional stuff comes from like any relationships or anything like that. I don't have any. I'm probably as far as I've ever been from dating anybody, but it's just that's a lot. Like it's a big adjustment for me. She's actually leaving this Saturday morning, so it's like man, like that's a big part of my heart just out of here like that.
Yeah.
Like you can call her and stuff. It's like dang, and obviously when you have her over there and my brother over there, and now me and my brother didn't grow up with our father, so he wasn't really in our life that much. So when our nephew comes, it's like, okay, we want to make sure that we give him the world and everything. We want to make sure he feels like he has two fathers at the end of the day. It's like, dang, my mom's over there, my brother's over there, everybody's over there. It's like, man, I'm the only person that's missing out on him watching him grow up. Even though he's not gonna remember these times where he was like 3 months to 9 months, but it's like I don't want to just pop up and see him again. I saw him at 2 months, and the next time I see him is he's like 9 months years old. It's like I still feel like I missed a little part of his life, and it's just little things like that I'm trying to deal with that makes me feel like sometimes like, dang, I really just feel like I'm in this empty space because now I have my best friends here and whatnot, but just not having any sense of really family here is gonna be a big adjustment for me. So
Yeah, man, that's gonna be tough. But I mean, I'm sure I know you. I know the type of person you are. You'll find a way. You know what I mean?
always.
Yeah, it's just that's your MO, man. You're not gonna settle for a no. But yeah, man, I'm praying for you and the fam. Praying for moms that she, gets a sense of peace out there and, has success and, nothing's too hard on her. Because I know she's gonna miss you too.
Oh, that's for sure.
So, yeah, man. Praying for you and the fam. Praying for your nephew that he grows, at a good rate, strong, healthy, all that good stuff. But yeah, man. Best of luck to you and the fam. Tell our family here about the positives emotionally. I know you just got some big news recently. What's going on with that?
Yeah. Well, I guess everybody doesn't follow me on Twitter. Yeah, you're right. Well, this past week I accepted a role to be a scouting assistant over with Optimum Scouting and the East West Shrine Bowl. They work in conjunction together, so that's pretty big. We're talking about the NFL's second biggest All-Star game, really behind the Senior Bowl, of course. And it was even crazy because you have a guy like Jim Nagy who tweeted out at me and said, "Congrats," which is even wild. Like, having him follow me for a few months has already been surreal, but to see him like publicly acknowledge me was pretty crazy. And it's just having you feel like your future's starting to shape up a little bit. Obviously, I want to play football as long as I can, exhaust that, but still being able to, I'm trying to show the young kids that you can chase all your dreams at the same time, man. And then you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. You can kind of set yourself up for life after football while playing football and still be focused on everything in front of you in the task game. Like, it's not like I do this and I stop working out 3 times a day or anything like that. Like, I'm still in my right mind frame, ready to go whenever the season starts. I still got that dog in me, ready to give it. Maybe it is the last run. Who knows? I don't know. But it was exciting. It was exciting news when it happened. It kind of happened really fast. But hey, on to another step in my career, and I'm thankful for everybody's gotten to this point. It is pretty big.
Man. When I saw the news, I was like, "Holy cow, bro! That's insane. I'm proud of you, dog, for real."
Man, I appreciate that, bro.
So how's that balance been? Like, that seems like a super high, and then like your mom leaving seems like a super low. How have you been able to be emotionally with those things going on together?
And like I said, I think that's where the 4 comes from, and just feeling unstable emotionally. I'm a guy who's usually like really in control of what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, and understanding what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling that way. So to be in this space where I have so many good things happening, and then I just have this happen, it's like, even though it's just my mom leaving, like, that's huge to me, because like just how much she means to me and how much I love her, and like how close our relationship is. Just like, that's something that's going to outweigh any kind of good that ever happens. Like, I could have got drafted 5th overall yesterday, and and then be ready to buy $1 million home, but like, dang, mom's gone. Like, shoot, I might have to move her out to me or something. But I think that's where the 4 comes from. Being unstable is probably the worst feeling you could have. And that's where I think that emptiness comes from as well, just not knowing what to feel or how to feel. Like, yes, I'm proud of myself at the end of the day, but I still got a long way to go. It's not the mark yet. It's just another big step. And then on the other hand, you have something like that happen, and it's just everything's teetering at the end of the day. And at some point, like I said, you have that state of joy, and then throughout the day, like, go through your different emotions. But at the end of the day, still choose joy. I'm thankful for everything God's done for me up to this point in my life, my career. Apparently, my career is something that's on a upward trajectory. Looks like I'm going to have a chance to be, something, I guess, special in the industry of football. Try to be somebody that's innovative, bring something new. Like, my goal is I want to be a GM. I see Ryan Pace for the Bears as a GM by 35. Like, I want to beat him too. I want to be there by 32, 33. Just having different goals to obtain. It's like I can work. It's like I've done all these, without trying to sound arrogant, I've done all these things. I've impressed all these people while doing this. Pretty much is like, feels like a hobby, because I'm only able to do that. I'm only able to do as much time as I have, as a college athlete. There's not a lot of time for me to have. And I'm still impressing all these people at the end of the day. It's like, wow, imagine what I can do when this is like a full-time job for me. Like, this is what I do every day. Like, I'm ready to take on the world. I'm going to just take that competitive edge from football into that realm. Because at the end of the day, how you do anything is how you do everything. And like, I take my work ethic for football into everything I do in life, and the way I prepare in life, everything. So it's exciting stuff to see how everything translates a little bit.
What's the driving force behind it? So, like, obviously you do it because you like it and you can see yourself like having a career doing it. But what's the reason behind it?
Originally, I wanted to go into sport journalism, and that's where I wanted my career to go. But because I've always loved to write since I was a kid. My friends know I'm a really good writer. Obviously, I've seen some articles in the past, but just get into, and this is something we can go into like whenever we have my episode where we talk about all about me and whatnot. But it's just, I got to North Greenville, journalism program wasn't all that, so I decided to shift my gears to sport management. Found my path, thinking, oh, it'd be pretty cool to be a GM one day, and just I also don't want to find all my worth in life with what I can do with my body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want my worth to be with what I can do with my mind, the way I speak, the way I think, the way I can innovate things, the way I can cultivate things, the way I can lift up a room, have a room gravitate towards me and truly listen. Just having God speak through me and everything that I do. Like I told you before every episode, I sit here and pray. I'm like, God, just speak through us. Whatever it is that needs to be said, I pray you just speak through us on this episode. And for me, I feel like for the most part, we've done a good job of that with our episode. I think the feedback's been good. But overall, it's my reason is just like, obviously I love it, but there's just so many things that having that platform for me isn't about being famous, being cool. Like, I really try to shy away from attention as much as I possibly can at the end of the day. But I think having that platform is we don't see enough good people with powerful roles at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people who are in power have had to slither their way into power. But when they get there, they're crooks, whether it's government, whether it's GMs, whether it's whatever, whoever's a leader in any realm. It's like, I want to be something that's different. Kids, I think Black kids can look at me and aspire to be me. Like, oh, I can learn football. I don't got to play it, man. I don't got to put my body on the line. For what? For who? I'm not doing that shit. Like, I can. Having football and playing a game of football taught me a lot and everything. But, kids can aspire to be me. Kids can't aspire to be a 6'4" first-round pick when their mom is 5'3" and their dad is 5'6". Like, that's something. And then they sit there in their hood or wherever they're at, and they say, well, I can't play sports, so I have no worth. And they go to school, and these kids tell them that you're a NARP or whatever because you're not on an athletic team. Like, your worth is worthless because there's nothing you can do, because your talents can't be visually seen is basically what it comes down to. Everybody wants the people that, I want to be able to see your talent. And then even the people who are insecure that they don't have talents will pick on people because they have special gifts, such as if you're a person that plays the violin, if you're the person that's a really good writer, but no one sees that you're writing all these poems in your room. They don't have your notebook. They don't have your short stories that you've written. You're a dweeb to them. Because you can't physically show them your talents. You have nothing to offer them that looks like it's unique. Like, see somebody running fast, and like, oh my God, that's really cool. Like, that's unique. A rare amount of people can do that. Well, a few amount of people can be Mozart. Only a few people can be Langston Hughes. Any kind of writer. Like, those are special gifts too. And I want kids to understand, like, you don't have to be the people in the field. You can run the whole organization, man. Like, you don't have to spend your body or do anything, but whatever you go into, you better learn you just learn it. Learn as much as you can, prepare yourself for everything. Prepare yourself to not only be good at your job, but to raise up people under you to be the next. Because you're only as great as your successor is at the end of the day. If I do all this and no kid, not a kid doesn't have to directly follow the path that I took, but no one under me becomes inspired or anything, then what did I do? I didn't touch my community at all. I wasn't out in my community trying to figure out, okay, if I'm on this platform, I want to be in my community asking people, what do you want to see from me? Like, when I get to this level, what do you want to see me do? What qualities do you want to see me not lose? What do you want me to speak out for you guys for? Like, what is it that you want to hear? Because like we all have things that are our heart that people are afraid to say it once they get to those levels, because everything has to be politically correct. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not here to be politically correct. I don't care. You can strip me of all my job titles. You can strip me of scouting. You can strip me of. I could be a gym one day and you can fire me. That does not matter at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, God's going to provide. That's what God's going to provide for me. I have full faith in that He's going to provide no matter what I do. So I don't need your titles. I don't need your labels. I don't need your high places of power. I'm just doing what I'm doing. And it happens to be that it's a role that's pretty big. Like my talents have taken me into a realm of a billion people that consume this sport like it's religion. And it just so happens that my path comes with a really big platform. And if I'm going to have that platform, I damn well better do something with it besides just put together Super Bowl winning teams or talk about players. Like, that's not going to do anything for my life at the end of it. Because like I told you episodes ago, at the end of the day, none of this shit matters. Sports does not matter, bro. I promise you it does not. Because it's not going to buy your ticket to heaven. It's not going to it's not going to buy your ticket to happiness. It's not going to buy your ticket to joy at the end of the day. So just my little tangent or runoff.
Yeah, man, that's good, dog. That's good. You know, and the biggest thing, like I said, like the first episode, like you're one of the most humble people I've ever met. With all the success and stuff that you've gotten, and for you to stay as level-headed and as calm and just keeping yourself on the same path has just been tremendous to see, bro. So again, tremendous, man. Like, I'm so proud of you, dog.
Thank you.
For sure.
Hey, the craziest thing about it too is like I don't see how people get to like a certain level and they start losing their minds. Because when I think about it, I'm like, damn, I love my friends. Like, me and my friends have great relationships. Like, I'm not gonna be the one that ruined it just because I get big and become the asshole in the group. They can ruin it if they want to, but like, it's not gonna be me that ruins it. Like, I really find joy and happiness in all my friendships, and that's where I find my love for people and everything. So it's like, why would I want to ruin those things, like, and burn bridges at the end of the day? It's just, this is one of the things I never understand about people. I don't think there's enough fame in the world. I know there's not enough fame in the world or enough money in the world that'll make me turn my back on, the people that even got me here, that built me. Because like, at the end of the day, like, I do it for the people that love me enough to support me. I wouldn't have this kind of confidence in myself. I haven't always been the most confident person in the world. There's days where I feel like maybe my dreams are too big, but at the end of the day, like, and you never realize how many people are looking up to you until you announce something like that. Next thing you know, you have people in your DMs telling you like, "Hey, you've always been a role model for me," and you never realize those things. So it just makes you kind of keep a level head. Like, I got to keep doing the right things because people are looking at me, and if they don't see me doing the right things, and I'm not doing my part in what I've always wanted to do, which was be a man of my community at the end of the day. Hey, if this makes the recording, because it's already recording, folks at home, we had a little technical difficulty, call cut out, whatnot, blah, blah. So yeah, we're just trying to figure out where we're at the end of the conversation. And we'll see when the files get merged together. If we were kind of on point, kind of where, we'll find out. You'll feel the little gap in the show. Maybe we'll throw an ad in there for you. Oh, great idea. Symbol.com, SIMBULL.com. Using promo on campus, baby. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but dang, I can't remember. I for real can't remember. I know we were talking about like what's important to us, and you were the one talking. How do you not remember?
Bro, my CT as bad as yours. Hey, tackles add up on you, my brother.
Boy, do they? My memory is bad when I play receiver. That's all I'm gonna say.
And the wildest thing is, you guys, any of my friends, my long-term memory is exceptional. Like, I remember everything detail for detail. I can tell you what you're wearing when we had a conversation, how the conversation, everything. They're like, how do you remember it that way? Like, oh, well, I was looking out my windows, so I knew that blah, blah. So, like, if I would have.
I'm gonna remember the conversation we were having like 2 weeks from now. I'm gonna remember what we were talking about.
Oh, my gosh. That is true. But anyway, I think I was just going along the lines of just talking about how you don't really realize that you're a role model in your community or you're a role model to certain people until like I announce something like that, and then I get a DM from like, some younger guys who are in my area and talking about, oh, you've always been a role model for me, blah blah blah. And I think with the guys in my area, I was a really good high school football player, obviously, and that gave me a platform. But I think people really gravitated towards me in our community because I was a really good football player who I was accessible at the end of the day. Like I didn't hold myself higher than anyone else. I always made sure I looked out for the younger guys. And I think people really like that. Like they like seeing someone who's a star in a sense, I guess you could say or call it, be someone that was approachable. And I feel like that's one of the stigmas as athlete. Like you have this thing where obviously they always like, oh wow, he's well spoken. But I think the thing for me is you meet a celebrity, is you kind of expect them to be an asshole at the end of the day. Like you don't expect, like you're always surprised when football players like, oh wow, these are genuinely good dudes. Like, but even the guests that we've had, like you brought on guys that I didn't know them at all. And like, oh wow, these are actually like really good dudes, really known people. But you never know. You just never know like how people handle stardom or how people handle a certain level of success. And my biggest thing is I've always just asked God to just let me be a good steward of your blessings. That's all I want to be at the end of the day. Just carrying myself the right way with my success and not getting too caught up in it and just understanding. Because I'm always a person who feels like I'm not doing enough. Like there's so much more to go, and there is a lot more to go and a lot more work to do. But I am proud of what I've become and who I am as a person. Because I think I am the perfect person to hold that kind of title or hold the big titles that I want and be someone who can the kids can actually look up to. Like I believe I can handle those pressures because I don't really conform who I am at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Good.
Oh.
That's right there. Got our mental health check going, emotional health check, spiritual, physical. We kind of hit on like what drives us and stuff.
Let's talk about Sciggy's financial check. He always
poor as can be.
No, hold up. Gotta tell people this. Sciggy basically called me a broke boy the other day in our group message. Our CEO or whatnot of Around the Block. Shout out to our boy Ronnie Harder. We don't ever shout him out enough for this show, bro. We were talking about playing PlayStation or whatever. He's like, "Oh, you have a PS." He's like, "My bad, I forgot you don't have a PS5." Blah blah blah. Like, bro, I had one before you. And then
I forgot you had it, bro.
I was like, "Damn, he just called me a broke boy."
Because you don't play no games, man. You just you don't game for real, dog.
I be on the game. I show offline because I don't like people bothering me. I played with you when I want. Bro, see, like if you wanna play with me, you gotta set up a scheduled time. I'm a busy man. I like a schedule every week. So I be on there, bro.
Dweeb.
I be on the duty. I be on.
Man, I can't play Call of Duty no more. That game, talk about something that pisses me off. That game just drives me through the wall, bro.
See, like, that's because you be too into it, man. It's hurting you.
That's why I stopped playing it. Cause I don't like sweat every game, but like I want to win, you know.
Oh, and absolutely.
When there's those kids that do sweat on the game, and like people are just cheesing, and like the game's just, I don't know, the game's not balanced to me at all, and I don't like games that aren't balanced, which is why I stopped playing Madden, because Madden was so incredibly hard to play defense on that it was just like not fun for me, because that's what I always like I could put up 60 points a game easily on any Madden. I've always been good at scoring the ball, but like I pride myself in like stopping people from scoring, and it was impossible in that game, so it just it wasn't for me.
Well, we kind of went off on a tangent here, but I have a question for you. What would be like, as we kind of wrap up, of course, what would be in all your health checks, what do you think is like your next evolution as a person, I guess? Which is probably a hard question to think about on the spot. Like, what do you think is like your next evolution as a person? Like, where are you trying to I guess where are you trying to improve at? Like, what do you need to improve on to take your next step towards being who you want to be as a man, boyfriend, husband, friend, father, everything?
I I'd kind of mix between physical and emotional because like I'm not like an affectionate, super mushy gushy emotional
Oh,
whatsoever, like at all. And
me neither, man. I'm not a physical person. Yeah.
and like I don't know, man. It's just kind of just not my thing. But like I don't know. It's not like a problem between me and my girl, but like I know for a fact that she would rather me be like a lot more emotional and touchy than I am.
Bro,
It's just
before you keep going, it's crazy that you're answering it this way because this is actually gonna dive into my answer. So keep going. This is wild
yeah,
that you're actually
just
saying this.
it's just not me. So it's something like I want to work on, and like not that I'm be like huggy, kissy, touchy every second of the day, because that's never gonna be me. It's not.
It's
But
not who you
like
are.
I need to do a better job of like treating her and like treating my mom like one of the bros. Because honestly, like we just hang out. I just kind of play the game. We just watch movies, but it's not like cuddle sessions and stuff like that. We just be chilling like that's
You
my
try.
best friend.
You want to be more intimate.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm trying to be more intimate, man, and that's probably the thing I need to work on the most. And then obviously just become stronger in the word. There's always room for improvement there.
absolutely.
What about you?
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I think my biggest evolution as a person that I've tried to work on is trying to. It's like I'm a person who like I love everybody, and I'm not afraid to show love. Like obviously not in the like not a huge physical person. Like I'm not afraid to tell people I love you or tell people I care about them or give people words of affirmation or whatnot. But the hardest thing for me is I've got to be able to. My love is hard though. Like I'm tough love to
Yeah.
and and God bless my best friend Aaron Odom. Let me give him a shout out. My best friend in the world. Everyone who knows me knows him. How close we are. He gets the hardest. He gets the toughest love for me, man. Because I like when I see potential in a person. Like I always think people are wired the way I am. Like
Yeah.
a go getter, everything. Just so I love people a tough way. I'm like, oh, they could take this. They'll be all right. I would be able to say this to myself and be fine. Like thinking
Yeah.
that way. And
Same.
moral of the story is like my biggest evolution is like I need to learn not just I already know I'm already a loving person. I need to learn how to love people in the way they want to be loved at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Like taking time to okay, how does this person in my life want to be loved? How do they perceive love? How much love can they handle? Some people don't want you to be loving them too much because like they get uncomfortable when you say kind things or anything like that. Man, some people in your life do need that tough love. And just trying to figure out and step outside of my shell of saying selfishly loving people, saying, "Oh well, this is what I would do if I was sad, so I'm gonna do this." Instead of
Hmm.
trying to learn everyone in your life as a certain person and give them their own separate way. It kind of goes back to the way if you're a leader on a team, you have to lead everybody differently. Everybody doesn't respond to the same things. And I need to learn that about loving people. Just stepping out of my comfort zone and loving people at their level, loving them at the place that they're comfortable being loved at. Otherwise, I'm just gonna continue to kind of be a hard ass on people at the end of the day and like trying to drill success into them. And some people just can't handle that. Some people you gotta kind of give them a little push towards success or give them a little confidence towards success. And I think like my best friend, like I've broken him down a lot, I built him up a lot, but I think the way my tough love has, it damaged our relationships at some points, and there's things that I've said that I can't really take back about just being so hard on him. But like in that time, I've never downplayed him. It's just always I'm hard on you because I see that you could be this. Like I didn't always go about it the right way, and I think that in some way, like sometimes those things have a lasting damage on people. Like it takes a little while for those things to heal, and I had to learn that the hard way. Sometimes you don't want to see your best friend cry or anything like that, and that's one of my things. Like, dang, I thought I was being loving, but apparently I'm just being a dickhead. So it's just that's going to be the biggest thing for me, and really, I'm trying really hard to kind of work that into my life. But at the end of the day, I'm not a huge social person. Like, I only like my friend Aaron is one of the few people I talk to every day. So it's like I'm not really interacting with a ton of people every day, but I guess I still try to get my practice.
Yeah, man. Just it's good that you're self aware about it though, because I mean I've been there too, and like I'm the type of person that's brutally honest. Not
Oh, bro,
I do it
what?
on purpose, but like I'm gonna just tell you how it is, and like I don't really sugarcoat it, and that's something I had to work on, and I've gotten better. But like still, people come to me with like stuff because they know I'm not gonna lie to them.
Exactly. That's my role. That's my role in my friends' lives. Like people always say, "Hey, Bogan gonna keep it 100 with you and keep it a stack every time, whether it hurts your feelings or not."
Right, man. At the end of the day, like I had the mentality like I'm telling you the truth, you better get over it. But now it's more like
and that's the fault in it. That's where I was at. It's like, well, I'm telling them the truth, so I'm doing what's in their best interest. It's like I'm really the scholar and the gentleman here, but like, you're not. Like you're selfishly saying like that's kind of like saying I'm right, they're wrong. It is what it is. I'm telling you the truth. How you take it is how you take it. Instead of trying to tell them the truth in a way that's constructive. Like how do you build? How does it a conversation where I'm not just speaking to you, instead we're having a conversation about the truth that's on the table instead of me just tossing the truth at you. And some people can handle all of that at one time. It's like you kind of got to guide them in that direction. Like, hey, like, why do you act like this sometimes? Like, why do you do this? Why don't you do this? And just those kind of little things. And it's good that you're about to dive into this part of your life where you try to learn your girlfriend's love language, which is going to be huge for you guys. It's going to be a huge relationship.
marriage coming in a couple years.
Hey, more power to you. I'll be there. As long as you got some good food at the wedding, I'm front row.
You know we're gonna eat good.
Hey, you know,
where I go, I'm eating good.
no offense. You never know when you blend families. White people want to take over the white people. You do not get to say it in the menu until you got to prove to me that you sought your food, baby.
She knows that I do the cooking in the relationship. Yeah, that's been something that was, and she's lucky that I like to cook, because
I love to cook. So yeah,
that's like fishing and cooking. Those are like my stress relievers. But yeah, man, as we come to a close, anything else you want to let the people know?
Oh man, that's it. I think we just got to make sure that we got to make sure that people listen to this whole episode, because some people might get turned off by the Christianity talk and turn it off at the 20-minute mark or something. So if you guys made it to this point in the podcast, we thank you. We appreciate you. We guys love the support that you guys have given us during this time. We're going to try to continue to find a way as our schedules get a little busy as we get closer to football season to continue to give you guys good content. We've got some sponsors coming in soon. So if you're really a fan, make sure you're using our on-campus codes when we start giving us tell those things. And tomorrow's July 1st, so NCAA, run us that money.
Need it. On the way to spread some positivity to somebody after you listen to this.
Trying to make you feel good, I ain't here to waste your time. I be high as fuck when I'm with you, feel like I'm flying. You and the drug got me inspired. I was at it and I feel like I'm in space, you did. She throw it back, she got the pillow near her face. And I'm smoking on exotic, you might think the blunt is lace, you did. I know this chick that do whatever for the kid, you